What is up, everybody? The boys are back. Welcome back to the Alpha Dog Experience. We have Week 13 NFL action. Per usual, we have the guy next to me. We have Corey Covers. He's always here. Our resident Eagles, Titans, Lions, Falcons. Each week his fandom grows, but we're happy to have you back as always, Corey. And after last week, Dustin gave you guys so many freaking winners on the show that we had to bring him back. Our friend from the North Side, Dustin. First, we'll start with you. How are you doing today?
Hey, doing pretty damn good. Can't complain whatsoever. It was a pretty good Thursday night game. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of flags, but hey, I think the better team won that one. How about you guys?
Unfortunately, the better team did win, but did not cover for me. I won all my plays yesterday except for the football game, so that one was not a good one for me. I was on the Cowboys. Corey, what'd you have last night, and how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I had a teaser. I had the Cowboys -3.5 and the under, but obviously that didn't hit. But 3 player props cash in for my followers and subscribers. Had Ferguson anytime touchdown, Pollard 3 catches or more, and Metcalf 50 or more alternate yards. So he obviously soared past that. So we went 3-1 last night. I'll take it all day, every day.
There we go. Well, boys, the people are here. We have a ton of games to review. Let's not keep them waiting. Let's dive right into it. First game that we have on the slate, 1 o'clock game, Chargers at the Patriots. Corey, 5.5 point spread for the Chargers. What are you thinking?
Yeah, this one for me, I'm going to wait to see who's playing QB. All signs indicate that it will be Bailey Zappi, but obviously Bill Belichick hasn't confirmed it. But how many times are you going to start Mac Jones and then pull him? I think it's time to see what you have in Zappi. If I had to make a pick, though, I'm going to take the under in this one at 40.5. I don't see how the Patriots move the ball regardless of who is at quarterback. You look at the receiving props right now, Devontae Parker is the highest yard total at a whopping 33.5 yards. So Vegas doesn't think New England's going to do much or score for that matter. The spread could be a play, but I worry about the bad weather. And hot take here, guys, I said it, I'm not the biggest Justin Herbert fan. I don't trust this Chargers team needing to come in and cover games. So I'm going to lean the under on this one with the weather being absolutely atrocious all up and down the East Coast on Sunday.
I like it. Dustin, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Corey, I'm with you. 59% of bets are on the Chargers. I'm not going to touch a side. They're coming into the game on a 3-game losing streak against a team that could very well be the worst team in the NFL. It's one of those games you might put some money on, but you're not going to want to bet whatsoever. I'm not sure if you saw the TNF graphic, but they had Bill Belichick. They had no idea which quarterback to feature because both are pretty damn bad. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that. They put a coach on the graphic. They're like, hey, we're really going to, no one's excited to watch the game. No one's excited to watch the game. But yeah, even against that Chargers D, I don't see the Pats moving the ball well. Pats come in 25th in the NFL in yards per game, or 3-8 to the over. Like Corey said, it's screaming the under. I'm also on the under here, 40.5, no problem.
Scary play here, boys, because it's a three-peat. I am also on the under. Dustin, you stole it right from me. The Patriots are one of the worst teams at getting to the over this year. They are coming in at 8-3 at games to the under. They are covering at 73% to the under, which is a trend I like to back against a Chargers team that really has struggled. I do think the Chargers blow them away, but I'm more comfortable with the under here. Like you said, 59% of the plays are on the Chargers. Not taking a side here. I am all over the under with the boys. Either we're all going to be happy when this one ends around 4 o'clock, or we're going to be in a little texting convo, not too pleased. Let's keep it moving along, boys. We have the Cardinals. We have the Steelers. Are the Cardinals entering full tank mode? Are the Steelers a legit team now that Matt Canada is gone? Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking a little bit of a 2-piece same gamer here. Steelers money line and Najee Harris at least 40 yards rushing. This Cardinals defense has been bad all year, and the Steelers, they are relying on the run and continue to feed Harris despite Jaylen Warren clearly being the more explosive running back in that backfield.
Come on.
Arizona allows the second most yards to running backs per game at 124 point yards and averaging 4 point yards per carry against opposing running backs. So that's a good recipe for Harris, who I think is going to see a lot of action with the weather being poor, and Kenny Pickett just isn't good. This offense, they're so lucky. They are one of the luckiest teams in the league. I bet on them last week, and naturally they don't cover. So I'm going to go with the 2-legger here. It's about -125, so not terrible value for the Steelers money line at home. And you get Harris, who I think is going to be featured a lot, and I think he could get 40 yards easily.
Before we go to Dustin, quickly, let's touch upon that. Don't you think that Jaylen Warren is having success because Najee Harris is beating up the line early? I really think that Warren's success is based on how Najee Harris does, and I think Harris has looked great over the last couple of weeks. No Matt Canada. This team does look different. Dustin, what are you liking?
I mean, I'm going down the same avenue. I love the running back play here, but of course, I'm going with Jaylen Warren. Corey said it the best. I mean, he has been the more efficient runner in that backfield. Every time he touches the ball, it seems like he's getting chunk play after chunk play. I mean, there could be something to what you're saying, Alpha, because Najee is one of those guys, big bruiser backs that come in. Then Jaylen Warren comes and picks up those chunk plays because he is doing it very often. But is this a new offense? Is this a new Pittsburgh offense without Matt Canada? I mean, the first game without him, over 400 yards of offense. I mean, that's a pretty damn good start. I mean, that backfield is going to be going up against one of the worst rush defenses in the league. They're allowing Cardinals defense, that is, they're allowing 140 yards on the ground per game. I feel like that backfield is just going to have an absolute field day. I'm going Jaylen Warren over 59.5 rush yards for sure.
Yeah, I like both those plays. I do think both running backs are going to have a monster day. You guys both put it perfectly. The Cardinals' rush defense is not great, and I also think this team's in a full tank mode. You know they're going to fully rebuild. What do they have in Kyler? They have to figure it out. That's why he's out there. But this team outside of that really doesn't have a lot of promising players. They don't have a promising outlook right now. The best thing they can do is lose, and I'm all over the Steelers because I think that's exactly what's going to happen. We kind of saw what the Cardinals were last week. They got absolutely destroyed. I think we see something similar here. They just don't have a lot of fight in them, and the best thing for this team, like I said, is to lose. Give me the Steelers all over them at the -5.5. I think they win this one by closer to 10 and definitely by at least a touchdown. Let's keep it moving, boys. We have a lot of games on the slate. We have the Broncos. We have the Texans. Quickly, guys. Quickly to Dustin. What do you think of the Broncos? 5 games in a row they've won. Sean Payton's got them going down the right track. They do not look like the same team that gave up 750 points to the Dolphins a few weeks ago. What do you think about them?
I mean, I still don't understand. I see the bets, and there's 57% of bets on Houston. I mean, I know everyone can be caught up in the CJ Stroud hype, but you're right, man. Like, what happened to Denver? I was talking to you just the other day, and it's like they woke up one day and they just said, "Hey, let's play some good football," and now all of a sudden they were playing some good football. I mean, you said it, winners of 5 straight, and they're not beating teams that are just rollover teams in the league, right? They're beating the Packers, who are trending upwards. They beat the Chiefs, they beat the Bills, they beat the Vikings, they beat the Browns. Like this, I mean, it's a team that's actually coming against some pretty solid teams and putting them away. So, I mean, Denver does have the worst rushing defense in the league, but they're going against the worst passing defense in the league. I think it's going to be a field goal game as a result of that. Denver's trending in the right direction. I think Broncos cover this no problem, +3. And I like over on Singletary and over Russell Wilson, 213.5 pass yards. I think that leaky Texans secondary is going to be I think Russell's going to eat against them for sure.
I like it. Corey, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, Dustin basically said everything that I was going to say. He nailed it on the head. I liked what Sean Payton has done with this Denver team. They're starting to believe in one another. Russell Wilson looks better than he had last year. He's not vintage Russell Wilson, but he's not turning the ball over nearly as much. They've got a solid running attack going. I'm with Dustin. I think they cover this. It's up to 3.5 now on certain books, so you're past that key number. And CJ Stroud, he's been amazing. Arguably the rookie of the year right now in the NFL, but he is banged up with a thigh injury. Some of his other offensive weapons have been listed on the injury report for Houston. So I'm going to take the hot team here with Denver. I think that they can cover. I don't know if they necessarily win this game in Texas, but I do think they certainly cover, and I'm with Dustin. I think it's decided by a field goal.
Interesting take, boys. I got one here for you. Dog of the day. I think the Broncos win this one outright. The Texans are good, but this is a great game for Sean Payton to dial up a defense against a rookie quarterback. Sean Payton's been a great coach for a long time. You're seeing this team get better and better. The defense is growing, and I think they play a great game against the Texans here. They should be able to confuse CJ Stroud enough. Like you said, Corey, he is a little banged up. I do think we'll see a couple turnovers, and I think that will be the key in this game. The Texans, I think, are a little early for their run. I think in a couple years, this is going to be an elite team, a real contender. I just don't think they're there yet. They've outperformed their talent, and I think the rest of the year we may see them start to fall off a little bit. They're still going to be good. They've had a great year, but I think they're overplaying where they actually are at the moment. Give me the Broncos on the money line. I see a ton of value on them in this game. Let's keep it moving, boys. Next one. I know Mr. Dustin has a big play on this one. We'll let you kick it off. We got the Lions. We got the Saints. What you got?
I mean, it's a battle between two different teams, obviously. I mean, the Lions 7-4 against the spread. The Saints are 2-8-1 against the spread. 80% of bets are on the Lions, and I think this is one of those rare times where I'm going to go head on and join the public against the Saints. I mean, I don't know why the spread is so low at -4.5. Do the bookmakers know something that we don't? I mean, the Saints have been continuously awful against the spread. Like I said, 2-8-1, one of the worst marks in the entire NFL, and they operate one of the worst red zone offenses in the NFL. I mean, I think last week against Atlanta, Carr threw a pick 6 in the red zone. They fumbled on the 5 in the red zone. Atlanta ended up picking that up and then driving down for 6. They just cannot score when they get inside the 20. I mean, this could be my pick of the week. You said it. I'm looking for the Detroit defense to have a bounce back game against Carr because he's been pretty awful this year. And the Lions do need a bounce back. I mean, that defense has been torn apart for the last few weeks. But on top of that, I mean, Michael Thomas is out for the Saints. Rashid Shaheed is doubtful. Chris Olave needs to pass concussion protocol for the Saints. Yep. I think everything is looking towards the Lions here. And I don't see the Saints' offense keeping up with Detroit at all here. I'm going to take Detroit -4.5.
Corey, let me jump in here a second. I completely agree with Dustin here. When we see the Lions win big games and have big performances, it's against teams like the Saints. Teams that are not great. They're kind of mid-tier, maybe lower mid-tier. The Lions really struggle against really good offenses, but this is a spot that I think they absolutely take it to them. I see them scoring a ton of points in this one. And like you said, I just don't know if that Saints offense is going to be able to put up enough points when they're missing a ton of weapons this weekend. Give me the Lions all over it with you, -4.5. Corey, what you got?
Well, the three of us are in unison again, fellas. I'm all over the Lions here. Bounce back spot. I think they were beyond flat in that Thanksgiving game. And that loss to the Packers, I think, can certainly send a message and a wake-up call to this young Lions team. They need to get Jahmyr Gibbs the ball, though, even more. I don't know how many weeks in a row I have to say it, but the kid is their most explosive player aside from St. Brown. He wasn't featured nearly as much as he should have been in that loss. And as Dustin had mentioned, the Saints are absolutely banged up. On the defensive side, Cameron Jordan on the defensive end, he is also questionable to play this game. They are absolutely spiraling in terms of injuries. And also this Saints team, they cannot score in the red zone. They went 0 for 5 in the red zone last week. So I would be scouring the news about Olave's status because if he's ruled out, I wouldn't be surprised if this spikes up another point or at least a half point in favor of the Lions. But right now, I'm loving Detroit -4.5 on the road.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if bookmakers know something that we don't, because -4.5, I feel like this could easily be a touchdown or more against the Saints. It scared me that way.
I feel the same way, but don't jinx us. Let's hold on to it. Let's take it, and let's see how this plays out next week. Yeah. We'll recap this one for sure next week. Let's keep it moving, boys. Corey, you grew up a Titans fan. You're hosting the Colts. What you got?
Yeah, I'm going to ride with the Titans at home. Money line at +100. This team plays much better at home. 4-1 in Nashville, guys. 0-6 on the road here this season. That's the split for this Tennessee squad. And one of those losses was at Indy in a 23-16 setback, And that was the first loss for the Titans in the last 6 meetings against Indy. Indianapolis historically has dominated this head-to-head matchup, but Tennessee has had the better of the Colts as of late. I don't love this quarterback matchup. You got Gardner Minshew and Will Levis, but the Titans are letting Levis learn on the fly, and he has shown some sparks here and there. No Jonathan Taylor, which I think is a big deal for Indy. They will rely on Zach Moss, but this Titans rush defense is still in the middle of the pack in terms of yards per game. They're allowing 88 yards per game on the ground. So I think the defense steps up. They'll make enough plays, and they're going to gut out an ugly 3-point, 2-point win somehow at home because they just play better. And Mike Vrabel as a dog is historically very good against the spread. I just think there's more value on this money line for Tennessee at home.
Trivia for both of you guys. Who do you think is the second best team in the NFL at games going to the over?
I'm going to go with Indianapolis.
It's got to be the Colts, yeah.
It is the Colts. Who would think that? When you think about games going to the over, you don't think about this team that's led by Gardner Minshew, but they have. It shows that their defense gives up a lot of points, and they are able to put some points on the board. On the other side, the Titans, they're the third to worst team at games at the over. They're 3-8 to the over, which means they're 8-3 to the under, and at 72% to the under. So this one's interesting. You kind of have a team that has all their games going to the over. On the opposite side, the other team going to the under. Kind of makes you scared to take a total in this one. Unfortunately, I'm siding with Corey here because I do think the Titans are the better team. They are at home, and I do think they get it done. So give me the Titans on the money line at plus 100. I see it the exact same way Corey does. Originally, I did like the under in this one at 42.5, but you dig a little bit more into the details, and the under is definitely a scary play with how Indy covers at the over. Dustin,
this is scary, Alpha. We're agreeing too much here today.
I agree. Don't say anything about it. Just let.
I mean, since you guys are agreeing so much, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go the Colts. I mean, you guys are on the public. 71% of bets are on the Titans. I mean, Corey said it best. This is going to be an ugly game. I believe it's going to be a 3-pointer, 2-pointer, whatever the case may be. It's going to be close. But I mean, the Colts won game 1. They're on a 3-game winning streak against the spread and straight up. We know Jonathan Taylor is out, but Tennessee has just been struggling on both sides of the ball, to put it lightly. I mean, they sit 28th in the league in defensive EPA on the season. They average just 13.3 points per game in their last 4 games. Will Levis, I mean, is coming back down to earth. The Colts secondary has been surprisingly good, and that Colts offense is going up against the secondary, allowing 224 yards through the air per game. I'm just going to think, I mean, I know it's going to be a close game. You guys both pick Titans. I'm going to go Colts on the other side. I think they squeak out a field goal game here.
You're going to put this out there. I know we say this every week. These are not our official plays. We give you guys 3 bets at the end that are our official plays. These are the recap of all the games. This is a game I probably won't have any action on, but I do lean the Titans on this one. I'm sure Corey feels the same way I do. Just wanted to reiterate that. Let's keep it moving. A game I have absolutely a play on. We have the Falcons visiting the Jets. Falcons are favored by -1.5. Personally, I think the wrong team is favored. Corey, what you got?
I think this is an absolute underplay for me at 33.5. I just don't see how we're going to see points here. The Jets offense, atrocious. That's all you need to know. Desmond Ridder away from home, 2-4 against the spread and 1-5 straight up. And the Jets defense is the only reason why this New York football team hasn't been blown out even more. Arthur Smith and this offense just does not like to get the ball to their best playmakers in Robinson and London. It's going to be ugly. Again, we mentioned the weather. The Falcons also, they don't score a lot of points to begin with. They rank 22nd in the NFL in points per game. And the Jets, surprisingly, Alpha, are not dead last. They actually average more points than your New York football Giants. So just wanted to put that out there.
But I'm going to interrupt now. I'm going to interrupt now because the Giants don't play this week. How about Tommy DeVito with the New York football Giants? We have a bunch of people in here. Let me tell you something. New York Giants are coming 4-8. Got a shot at the playoffs here. This team is looking a lot better. Liking what I see out of Tommy DeVito. Had to put that out there. And thank you for taking the dig at the Giants. We appreciate that as Giants fans. However, I do think this is a Jets play. I like your under as well. I do think this is going to be a sloppy game, a terrible offensive game. And the Jets, to me, have the much better defense. I can see that defense making a few key turnovers and grinding out a disgusting low-scoring game. Give me the Jets. I think the Jets definitely get it done on Sunday. Also, really love your under. Dustin, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take some slack for that. I think we both were pretty hard on the Giants and DeVito last week. So I mean, we deserve that. But yeah, in this game, I think I'm taking the Jets with you guys. It's the lowest point total on the board for good reason. I mean, I think the Jets are going to sell out the run, make Desmond Ridder beat them, and I don't think he's going to be able to do a good job of that, to say the least. I mean, Tim Boyle on the other side won't be doing much as well. That Atlanta defense actually is kind of solid. There's solid turnover potential in this one. You said it. And I feel like the Jets with 19 takeaways this year will do enough to take one away and maybe steal this one as well on the money line. The value is there. I might sprinkle a little bit on the under, but the value's there with the Jets money line. I'm taking that.
Couldn't agree more. And boys, I'm going to retweet this so we get everyone in here for the biggest game of the week. To me, biggest game of the season so far. Corey, break it down. 49ers at your Eagles. I know everyone knows what you're on, but let the people know directly from you, even though they already know.
Well, you said that you thought the wrong team was favored in that Jets-Falcons game. The wrong team is favored in this one. I'm sorry. There's no way that this Eagles team at home should be a dog. With the best record in football, wins against the Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, and Dolphins. Now, don't get me wrong. The Niners are very good. There is some concern on how Philly will stop Kittle and CMC in the middle of the field with their banged-up linebacking core. But on the other side, the Niners secondary has been getting torched this year, and they have to try and defend A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who is right now arguably the hottest wide receiver. I mean, he is absolutely lighting it up over the last 3 weeks. The Eagles have a better offensive line, and they're getting Lane Johnson back. better quarterback, better
Beat me
wide
to it.
receivers, better secondary, better head coach, and they have lost 3 games at the Link over the last 2 seasons. I don't know how they're a dog. To me, it's disrespectful for the team. But regardless, the Niners, yes, they probably are statistically better in certain departments. I won't discount that, but you cannot quantify how a team finds ways to win, and that's what this Eagles team does. I am taking the Eagles money line at plus money. You can keep the points.
Let me tell you something. I am ready to
Well
run
said.
through a freaking wall.
Well
Corey.
said.
I'm
Holy
fired up.
Go Birds!
And as a Giants fan, this pains me, but I'm all over the Eagles in this spot. As you said, when the game comes down to the line, when it's time to win a football game, Jalen Hurts gets it done. Time in and time out, this Eagles team gets it done. I'm not taking the money line like Corey is. I am taking the +3 behind the hook here. I do think this game ends by a field goal in either direction. But the Eagles are home. They're great at home. They're the best covering team in the NFL this year. They are 7-2, hitting at 78%. They're in solo place of first. I think they get it done. This team keeps getting it done, and we're going to ride the train. I am with you. Let's go, Birds. Dustin, please tell me you're on the Niners.
I mean, I got goosebumps after that. 73% of the bets are on the 49ers, but after hearing that speech, I don't see how anybody could possibly take the 49ers. I mean, I'm with you guys. I could sprinkle a little bit on Eagles money line. I'm on Eagles +3. Obviously, it's a rematch of the NFC Championship, except Brock Purdy will actually be healthy. One thing to note is how Purdy plays away from home. Actually, he's got 132 passer rating at home versus a 95 passer rating on the road. 11 touchdowns to 2 picks at home. 8 touchdowns to 4 picks on the road. I mean, Philly's pass rush has been one of the best in the league as well. They'll be able to disrupt Purdy and the 49ers offense, as a result. I think with Purdy's potential struggles on the road in Philly, I like my odds with Jalen Hurts and that offense, and I think they continue to roll for sure. So I'm sprinkling the money line, but I'm also taking Eagles +3. I love me some Philly this week for sure.
And Corey said it perfectly too. Lane Train Johnson is back. He is absolutely crucial for that offensive line. Him being back is an absolute game changer for me. That's one of the reasons I'm taking that as well. He's absolutely critical for that offensive line to be successful. Let's keep it moving, boys. We have the Browns. We have the Rams. Nobody remembers that I was on the Browns last week. I hope. They got absolutely destroyed. New week, though. New opportunity. +3.5 point dogs. Dustin, start us off. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go back to the well. I like the Browns +3.5 here. I think 6 games for the Browns have been decided by 4 points or less. They have the league's best pass defense. It's going to keep them in games against Matthew Stafford. I mean, the Rams come in obviously on a 2-gamer, but let's remember who they beat. They squeaked out a game against Seattle. They beat a terrible Cardinals team. I mean, we do have a big question mark in Joe Flacco, but I still believe he is an upgrade on PJ Walker and DTR. Like I said before, I think this is a field goal game. I think the Browns defense are going to be able to keep them in it. Give me Browns +3.5, and I think that line has moved to +4 at some books. So I like the Browns here.
All right, Corey, what you got?
Yeah, Joe Flacco, guys, will be the 38th different starting quarterback for the Browns since 1999 for those keeping score at home. This is a pivotal game for the Browns, looking to stay alive in the AFC playoff picture. Problem for Cleveland, they have one of the most injury-filled reports we've seen all year, and some notable names. Myles Garrett has missed the last 2 days of practice with a shoulder injury.
Yep.
He's expected to play, but how healthy is he? He's missed the 2 days of practice already. Amari Cooper has been limited with ribs, but he's also expected to play. I wait for more clarity on this one and who will be actually on the field for the Browns. But if I had to take a play, I think I'd take the under in this one. Both teams are averaging 21 points per game. So mathematically right there, it would go over. But I'm not sold that Joe Flacco, who the Jets didn't even want to keep around after replacing Zach Wilson, is going to come out of quasi-retirement and have a week to basically learn this playbook and keep up with Matt Stafford and the Rams. So I'm going to go with the under here. The Rams are struggling offensively a bit. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp have been in a big-time slump. There's just no connection there with Stafford and those 2 guys as of late. I'm going to take the under here in this one.
Yeah, let me jump in here next. I feel the exact same way you do. Unfortunately, this is not Shane Falco. It is Joe Flacco. So he's not going to be able to come in there and absolutely light it up. We've seen when this guy has come in recent years, he has to be like 40 years old now. That offensive line is shaky. They're going to be able to get in the backfield. He's going to take a lot of hits. This is going to be the punt bowl. Both teams are going to be punting all game long. The Rams are going to try and run it at the start. The Browns should be able to defend that pretty well. Under. One of my favorite plays of the week. The total's at 40.5.
Squad
Flacco's
ride.
38 years old, young and spry.
Squad-
40.
Do we squad ride both teams punt on first drive?
That's
Question
pretty
mark.
I'm in
solid.
for that.
I like
I'm
that.
down for a fun
I like
ride.
that.
I am in.
I will ride that easily with you guys.
All right.
There we
Let's
go.
do it.
All right,
What's the
Dustin, did you
value
give
of
us one on this one?
I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
But it
Browns
seems pretty spicy.
Yeah,
There we
honestly,
go.
I think that's a pretty solid start.
We're moving. We got 2 games left, boys. Chiefs, we got Packers. Corey, 6-point line. What we taking?
Yeah, initially looking at this line, my gut says Packers with the points. This is Green Bay team Dustin alluded to earlier is trending upward. But that Thanksgiving game, the Lions, they looked very good against Detroit, but I kind of took a step back. I was like, yeah, it's a primetime game set at 42.5. We know how high of a clip primetime unders have been hitting. And for as good as Jordan Love looked last week, I don't see him having a huge game against his Chiefs defense that is pretty legit, guys. I mean, I watched that whole Eagles-Chiefs Monday night game. I mean, they stymied the Eagles for 3 quarters. So I don't see Jordan Love having the success he had against a porous Detroit secondary. They allow the 3rd fewest passing yards per game in the league. So I don't think Green Bay is going to go off in that regard. The Chiefs, though, they have been abysmal scoring in the second half. I might sprinkle on their team total in that second half, which sits at a low 11.5 points. They have scored just 7 points in the second half over the last 3 games, I think it is now. So it has been tough sledding for Kansas City. With all that said, I'm going to take the under in this one. I just think the Chiefs defense will contain Jordan Love and the Packers offense, and I'm banking on the Chiefs. If they get a lead in the second half, they don't like to run away with games. We know that a lot. The Chiefs, though, struggle covering big spreads. So I'm going to go on the under in this one.
I hate when you go right in front of me and you absolutely take the play right from under me. So just a little clarity for you guys. We don't discuss our plays before the show. It's better if we come on and just give you our plays without discussing anything. So I never have any idea what they're on. I'm also on the under. I think that's definitely the play here. Exactly what you said. Second half of ball games, the Chiefs turn off. They usually have some very good first halves. They get a decent lead, and then they coast to the end. This team is not the same offensive power it's been in the past. They do not have the same receiving weapons they have in the past. Travis Kelce is getting a little bit older. He's still very effective, but this offense is not as dynamic as it has been. For that, we've seen a lot of their games go under this year. I think this is going to follow that trend. Give me the under. One of my favorite plays this week. You can get that at 42.5. And like Corey said, it's a primetime under. Those have been absolutely money. We ride the trend. Dustin, what you got?
Yeah, those primetime unders have been absolutely hot for this year, and I think half of last year. There is a stat out there. It's like if you put $1,000 on a primetime under since last year, you'd be up like $24,000. Like it's just insane.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Like primetime unders are insane. Smart bet, smart plays. I love those guys. I'll do a little bit something different here. 60% of the bets are on the Packers, which to me is a little surprising, just because everyone loves their Chiefs, but it might be the case of the Chiefs offense just not scaring too many teams anymore. And the Packers, like I said, trending in the right direction after back-to-back wins against the Chargers and the vaunted Lions. Jordan Love is also trending in the right direction. After completing a league-worst 58% of passes for 213 passing yards per game through the team's first 7 games, Love has averaged 276 yards over the past 4 with 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I mean, he's coming around. The Green Bay faithful are starting to see what their quarterback truly is. Another little side note here is that the Packers last played on Thanksgiving, will come in well rested against Patty Mahomes and his solid defense. I'm gonna pick the Packers +6, trend away from the under a little bit, just because you guys are both taking it. I still love the play. I might sprinkle a little bit there, but I love the Packers +6. I think this is a backdoor cover, if not even closer. I think it could be a field goal game.
There we go. Y'all heard it first. Dustin said me and Corey are terrible, and he is the GOAT. We all heard that come out of his mouth. Don't let him get away with that. But quickly, guys, one more thing on this game I did want to point out. Kansas City is 3-8 to the over this year. If you were to think of teams that their games are going to the over, you would think the Chiefs are a team that would probably frequently play games to the over. The complete opposite. They're one of the worst over betting teams in the NFL. A fun fact for you, a little alpha nugget of the day. Boys, we're about to get out of here. We did a smooth show in about 31 minutes. Corey, what you got for the people? Anything for tonight? Any action?
Tonight,
Washington,
no, not
Oregon.
really. Yeah,
Washington, Oregon, the biggest game of the year so far.
I I gotta look. I got a family birthday dinner to attend to here in about an hour.
We don't want to hear
and a half,
anymore.
So, you know, I don't have, folks. I don't have a play. My attention's going to be on Sunday, so we break the banks here and crush the book. So, Alpha and I are either going to be very happy next week or very sad because I feel like we have been on the same wavelength the entire show. But
we were happy last week.
Are we doing best bets now, or do you want me to give my best bets?
Yes,
later?
Give your 2 best bets.
All right. Well, Jets Falcons under definitely, and you know what? I'm gonna rock the Birds. Eagles money line, guys. Plus 130, I believe it is. They're not losing.
Dustin, 2 favorite plays this week. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Washington tonight. If you want to say about best bets tonight, I'm on Washington. But I mean, I kind of blacked out after Corey gave his speech about the Eagles. I have to be on the Eagles after that. So one of my best bets is obviously Eagles +3 for the many reasons that I also said. And I mean, you listen to Corey, it's game over. But I'm also on Lions -4.5. I mean, I think that's my lock of the week. I don't see the Saints ever keeping up with that Lions offense, especially with how banged up they are. So yeah, I'm taking Eagles +3, Lions -4.5.
Family ride. First play for me, Eagles +3. Let's get that. Second one for me, I'm going to go with the Steelers -5.5. A little bit bigger of a spread, but I really do think the Steelers put the hurting on the Cardinals. Boys, it's been a phenomenal show. We will be back next week like we always are. Any parting words for the people out there?
Enjoy. We're wrapping up NFL. It's hard to believe, but man, we got some good games on this week.
Great games.
Let's have a day.
Saturday in college football too.
Mm-hmm.
And
let's have a day. Let's have a day.
Boys, we will be back next week. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Still 50 people in here. I don't know what you're doing in here. Get the hell out of here.
See you, fellas.